guys, welcome to our very first FCS podcast,
After the Bell.
Today we are interviewing one of our dearest teachers,
Mr. Penland. So how do you feel today, Mr. Penland?
I'm actually feeling really good today. Thank you for asking.
That is actually really surprising because we're at school and sometimes we have rough days, but we got to get to our first main question, and that is, what is it like being a Christian science teacher?
Well, a lot of people consider a Christian and a scientist to be non-compatible, but whenever you think about the history behind science, you realize that science has begun as a method to try to prove God. So realistically, Christian scientists should go hand in hand.
That's good.
Okay, the second question. Why did you choose to be a science teacher?
I've actually always been really curious. When I was a little kid, I would take stuff apart and get in massive trouble for it. But just having a real curiosity for things around me.
That's good. How do you have so much time to make such fun lesson plans?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's having a lot of time. I would say that it's more just trying to make it relevant to you guys as students.
Okay, good answer. How was each class different, and how do you feel about each one?
Oh man, each one of you guys as classes are very interesting, very lively. Yes. I should probably pray before I answer this one. So let's start off with this year's 8th grade. Obviously, they're at a point where they are starting to focus on where they're wanting to go for high school. So a lot of their extra time is not just focused on their classwork, their extracurriculars. It's really focused on where they're going to be next year. So that's this 8th grade. And it's like that for every 8th grade. So it's not weird. It's just they're busy. The 7th grade, they're finally acclimated to middle school. Hallelujah.
Oh, and guys, by the way, me and Hannah are both in 7th grade, so just imagine how we're feeling while he's answering this question.
Yes, imagine that. So 7th grader, they're finally getting acclimated to middle school, the expectations from the different teachers. And 6th grade, they are just a work in progress. You guys were like this too last year. It takes a little bit of time. Yes.
Oh.
It takes a little bit of time for the 6th grade to get adjusted into middle school. In elementary, they typically have like one teacher does almost all of the subjects.
Yeah.
But now that you're in middle school, you've got one teacher for social studies, one teacher for Bible, one teacher for science. And, some of the teachers may do multiple subjects, but for the most part, it's one teacher per major subject.
Yeah. I feel like that was a really big adjustment for me as well, like having all the different teachers. All right, so the next question is, what inspired you to be a teacher?
What inspired me? I've actually wanted to be a teacher since I was a 5th grader. So you 5th graders that are out there, you can start planning ahead right now. But when I was in 5th grade, I assumed that teachers had the summers off, that when the students were on break, the teachers were on break. And now that I'm a teacher, I realized I was so wrong.
Okay.
Okay. Is there a teacher in your life that inspired you?
Yes. When I was in high school, I had a teacher. His name was Dr. Roger Shockey. I don't remember which one he was. He was a science teacher. And I still remember being in his class. I remember him carrying a kid from the back of the class all the way to the front.
What?
In their desk, in their chair, because they were connected, with all of their books, their book bag, everything, and slam the kid up against the front wall. He was an excellent teacher. He had a great rapport with the kids. But man, that day, it was just, woo. But he was an awesome teacher, a teacher that I would like to strive to be more like, but I just don't know how he did it. He must have had like 4 days in a 24-hour time period.
I have 2 questions about that teacher. Number 1, was he a Christian?
No, he wasn't.
Wow. Okay. Number 2, did he get fired?
Mr. Shockey surprisingly did not get fired.
Oh.
The kids actually loved him so much that
Probably made a petition.
if something happened like that, then unless you're the kid who is getting carried in your desk, nobody would say anything. He was just that cool of a teacher.
Wow. The next question is, if you had advice for our teachers here at FCS, Flushing Christian School, what would it be?
Advice for the teachers. Woo. The first thing would be keep God first. I know that teachers, we tend to live our teaching career. So it's really hard for some teachers to make sure that they're keeping God as the priority. And so definitely first thing would be keep God first.
Yeah.
The second thing is family second. It doesn't matter like what's going on at the school. Leave it at the school sometimes.
Yeah.
Let your family have time with you. So that means like don't take like too much stuff home and work on it all night long. Spend time with the family. And the third thing, if you died, the school's going to find a replacement for you very quickly. Keep track of your own health. I know it sounds weird, but you got to keep track of your health. So
Wow.
God first, family second, keep track of your health.
Great answers you have. What emotions do you feel when you see your students graduate?
I'm going to answer with a joke. I don't have emotions. It's actually different each year. It really depends on that class, not necessarily the teachers. Some classes you get more like involved in their life. And so it seems like you're more vested in them if they let you into their life more.
Yeah.
And so sometimes and think of it, every year it's like you have to restart with a new little family. You've got new kids, new parents on the other side. And so you've got to learn them just like the kids have to learn you.
I have a question about this class. What do you feel about the current 8th grade class graduating?
What do I feel about them? This 8th grade class has a lot of ability. Their potential right now is just sky high. They definitely need to make sure that, just like I was saying for the teachers, they need to make sure that their focus is God first. As long as they keep God first in their life, then they can be successful. And I don't just mean what the world considers success. I mean what God considers success.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that somebody's got to go into like be a pastor or be a teacher at a Christian school. You can have a secular job living and working in a secular world, but still be an effective, successful Christian.
That's good. Do you enjoy like breaks, like spring breaks, Christmas breaks? And if so, what are the usual activities that you do during your breaks?
All I got to say is breaks. Hallelujah. Ooh, breaks are awesome. So typically what I do during a break is a lot of catching up and a lot of trying to plan ahead. So the next break that we have, I will spend a huge chunk of time trying to get caught up and trying to get ahead. Lesson planning, grading, etc. Besides that, this next break, we're also taking our youth to youth convention. We've got some people who are going to be performing in the Fine Arts Festival. So that's exciting. Thankfully, we're not in charge of it. We're just the glorified taxi drivers. But yeah, it's typically church-related stuff and trying to get caught up with school stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. the last question we have for you is, if you have advice for all students at FCS, what would it be?
Advice for all students. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Make sure that you're focusing on your education first.
Thank you for that, because I'm definitely going to take that into consideration, as I should. Anyways, thank you guys for listening to our very first podcast. It might have been short, but I'm glad you guys dropped in to listen. Thank you guys so much. Please stay tuned, and always remember to do your homework, kids.